Joining me now from France is Reem Sarah Alouana, a researcher in public law at the University of Toulouse and a specialist in religious freedom. And from New York, I'm joined by Iranian journalist Masih Alinejad, who started My Stealthy Freedom. It's an online movement which encourages women in Iran to share pictures of themselves not wearing the hijab. Thanks, both of you, for joining us. Reem, let me start with you. Why are you against the Burqini bans that we saw this summer in France?
Simply because I am for the right for women to choose and decide what they want to wear or not. I do not enjoy the idea that in a liberal democracy in 2016, the state decide for women how they should dress. And this is not only a blatant violation of women's rights, but obviously this is also a blatant targeting of Muslims and another step to make them disappear from the public space.
Reem, there seems to be a suggestion from those women who submitted their complaints and stories to the New York Times and others that there's a false choice at the moment for Muslim women in France. You can either be French or you can be Muslim. Is that the way you see it?
It's true, and it should not be that way, because French Muslims are full Muslims, French citizens. And what our public authorities and government still don't get or do not want to admit is that the Muslims in France are citizens. And as long as we do not consider Muslims as full citizens, still are getting much worse, much worse. And this article in the New York Times reveals a phenomenon that Muslim women in France has never been given a voice, are never invited to the debates concerning measures that affect them directly.
Now, what is really fascinating with both of you, as I bring you in, Masih, both of you are fighting for women's rights and for a woman's right to wear what she wants to wear. You come at this from a different angle and focus on societies like Iran, where the hijab is enforced. Do you have sympathy for what Reem is saying from France?
Honestly, I am against Burqini myself, but I am fighting for freedom of choice. And of course, I feel sympathy with those women who are forced to take off their Burqini. But what bothers me is the philosophy behind that. And as you said in New York Times, all the Western media, all the female politicians around the world, they are condemning Burqini ban. And they're claiming because they are for freedom of choice. But you never hear them condemning compulsory hijab. I'm going to give you an example. Ségolène Royal, the Minister of Environment, she went to Iran from France. And she accepted to wear compulsory hijab without even challenging it. And that was the exact time the world was screaming against Burqini ban. So if they are for freedom of choice, how come they accept compulsory hijab inside Iran without even asking a simple question, but they're condemning Burqini ban? In my opinion now, I have to say I come from a Muslim family, and my mom, all the female in my family, they still wear hijab. But in the West, hijab is trendy, and the world want to talk about hijab because of what's going on around the world, because of what Donald Trump campaign is doing and Islamophobia, all these kind of things. They want to ignore millions of Iranian women who are forced to wear hijab, or those women in Saudi Arabia or Afghanistan, and they want to talk about hijab because it's more trendy.
Okay, this is interesting because Reem Sarah, this idea that it might be somewhat ironic that in a place like Iran or even a place like Saudi Arabia, the Burqini itself doesn't go far enough and is too liberal and would be banned itself. Do you find common ground, Reem, with those who say if you want to fight this battle for what women wear, you also have to fight it within Islamic societies where women are forced to cover up?
Of course. I mean, listen, for me, the logic is the same. Whether you force a woman to wear a certain type of garment, a hijab or any other kind of garment, or whether you force a woman to remove a garment, in the case of hijab, it is the same logic. controlling women's body for a certain political agenda. You can think whatever you want about the hijab or the burqini or whatsoever, but leave women shielding. So for me, it's exactly the same logic. And my critique about what France is doing with Muslim women is also valid for countries, Muslim majority countries, but not only, who force women to wear it.
Mm-hmm. There seems to be a lot of trauma in France, particularly after the Paris attacks, Reem. You have people who were attacked by Daesh. There have been, active plots that have been uncovered and foiled and so on. Do you understand perhaps maybe the psychological dynamics here, where there are people in small towns, these small beach towns and so on, who don't know what to do? They have this enemy that doesn't have a shape or a form, and somehow they're being manipulated and misdirected to hating symbols of Islam rather than concentrating their efforts on trying to fight Daesh, Reem?
I understand people's fear, and I understand that people are lost. But who I blame is actually our government, both from the left and the right wing, who instead of trying to find common ground, instead of trying to unite the country, instead of fighting real issues, economic issue, terrorism, I'd rather see cops actually, cops are overwhelmed at the moment, right? And for me, there are the better use trying to fight terrorism than going after women enjoying a good time by the beach. But yes, I blame the government to try to manipulate the concept of secularism and laicity, to try to manipulate Muslims in order to put fear into people's mind and divide them. Dividing for conquer, has never worked.
Mm-hmm. Masih, has the French government got it wrong?
Sorry, I cannot hear the other guests properly,
sure. Okay.
So if you just
okay, sure.
tell me.
So, Masih, Reem said that the French government has got it wrong and they're trying to divide their own society rather than unite their own society. Do you agree with that?
I think it's both our responsible, the Muslim community and women rights activists, and the government as well. When I fight against compulsory hijab, I do not see any sympathy from Muslim women around the world. And I want to be united with them. And as I said, I am for freedom of choice, and my dream is to walk with my mother in France, who is wearing hijab, not getting, judgment or any attack, which, if she wants to walk with me in a beach, she can be free there. And I want to walk with my mother in my own country, in Islamic Republic of Iran, without getting arrested just because of not having a proper Islamic hijab. So I think we have to blame all government. When I ask all Muslim women, if you're fighting for solidarity and be united, you have to also condemn anything happening in the name of Islam. Let me give you another example. Always when I want to talk about those 7-year-old girls in Iran who are forced to wear hijab from the age of 7 when they want to go to school, around the world, I keep hearing from, Muslim women activists that you have to keep silent because you're causing Islamophobia. I grew up in a Muslim family. How can I, cause Islamophobia? I understand them. But in my own country, I am not against Islam, but this is Islam and all the Sharia laws, which is against us. From the age of 7, I have to go out with another identity. And when we invite all the female politicians, all the women rights activists, they want to keep silent. Why? Because they are worried about Islamophobia, but they don't care about the phobia that the government of Islamic Republic have about women. Or another term which I made it up, secular phobia. When we want to talk about women's right, they have a phobia of, secularism as well, and they want to keep us silent. If we talk about unity, we have to, being united, we have to blame ourselves, the women rights activists as well.
Okay, Reem, I just want to pause there just for a second, because this is pre-recorded, and just behind you, they've messed up your background in the studio. So I just want to get them to fix that. We're just going to pause this for just a second. I just want them to get it back to normal, and we'll continue in just a minute.
Oh, you didn't have me for.
No, I had you for a little while, but just behind you for the past 30 seconds, your background changed, and I just want them to go back to normal, and we'll resume again.
No one is here.
Oh no.
No one is here.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Excuse me.
We can hear you. Okay, so I'm gonna try to communicate this to them. We'll figure out a workaround.
Excuse me.
Oh.
Okay, they're here. Yes, they're here now.
Okay.
The background.
Oh, wow.
And I cannot hear the other guests properly. I never
We're trying to make that
what
clearer
she's
for you.
been
And
saying.
every time she replies, I'm going to try and paraphrase for you as well to make it as easy as possible. Sorry about that.
Please, yeah, because I really don't hear her. Not at no worries.
Okay. Okay. So Reem, if you don't mind, I'm going to ask you that question again once it's ready, because it was so good, and that thing changed as you were talking, and it looked terrible. So I'm just going to ask you that question again, and you'll have an opportunity to answer that one more time.
Oh, you're going to ask me the question
Masih,
again?
Sorry, Masih, yes. I'm going to ask you that question one more time in just a moment.
Oh my God.
Okay, but
Okay.
my apologies for that. Okay, we're ready. Your background's perfect. Okay. Okay, so Masih, as Reem puts it, she says the French government has got it wrong because they're actually dividing their society instead of uniting their society. Do you agree with that?
Honestly, I have to say, if we want to blame the government of France to, not helping the society to be united, we have to also blame the Muslim communities as well. We have to blame the women rights activists as well. We have to blame the media as well, because, as I said, this is our responsibility to bring all the women together and fight for the true, freedom of choice, not just condemning one side of the oppression, one side of the compulsion in the West, and ignoring all those women around the world who are fighting against compulsion in Iran. As I said, that just today, when the school day started, there are millions of girls from the age of 7. They are forced to wear hijab. So we have to talk about them as well. And I'm going to give you another example. When I want to raise the awareness and talking about freedom of choice in the Middle East, Muslim community always ask me to keep silent because they think I am the one causing Islamophobia. So that is why I'm blaming them, because they have to join us and they have to be loud to condemn anything happen in the name of Islam, to show the moderate face of Islam, not just keep asking us to keep silent. And when I want to tell them that in Islamic Republic of Iran or some other Muslim countries, these are Sharia laws which is causing Islamophobia. These are the Islamic rules which is causing Islamophobia. So if you want to ask women to be united, you have to blame all the Sharia laws which is causing Islamophobia. You have to blame all the Muslim communities when they keep us, they want us to keep silent. And of course I'm blaming all the political decision makers in France, in Iran, in United States of America, around the world, in Islamic Republic of Iran, who are trying to choose what women have to wear or who are trying to put pressure on women. But we have to also blame the Muslim communities who always keep silent against any oppression happening in the name of Islam.
Reem, is that fair that the Muslim community keeps silent on the oppression of women within Islamic societies?
I feel a bit awkward. I mean, I completely understand from where she comes from, but the thing is, I'm talking about France, and the thing with the Burqini is that, first, we don't have Sharia laws in France, so I think it's a bit different regarding that. But the thing is, in France, it's simple. We have laws and we have a constitution, and we are a secular country. And we apply laicity, which, is a form of secularism. But the thing is, laicity does not apply to the public space. We have freedom of religion. And if you want to express your religion, in the public space, and not only Muslim, also Christian, etc., you are allowed to. So, I mean, you cannot exactly compare a country like France with Iran.
Okay, so
we are liberal democracies.
sure. So let me pose that then to Masih. Masih, you have to hold a secular republic to a higher standard than an Islamic republic, because the secular republic, on the box, it says we allow freedom of religion. Perhaps the Islamic Republic of Iran on the box says different things. What do you think, Masih?
I totally agree with this. But what I'm blaming is these media and female politicians and all the, the fighting that I keep hearing around the world that they want to support those Muslim women in France. I blame this loud voice when it keeps silent when it comes to Islamic Republic of Iran. We cannot say that because Islamic Republic of Iran or those Muslim countries, they do not believe in freedom of speech or freedom of religion, so we have to keep silent. Not at all. Or we cannot say that this is an internal matter in Islamic society, we shouldn't interfere, because Burqini ban is an internal matter. But now I'm in America, and your guest is in France, of course, but you're in the UK. When we're talking about this, because when we talk about women's rights, it's a global issue, and we cannot say that because those dictatorship or Sharia laws they do not believe in equality, we have to keep silent. And what I'm blaming is those female politicians who go to Islamic Republic of Iran and they keep silent when they obey compulsory hijab, and they come back to the West and they use the freedom of speech in your media, other media, to condemn compulsion. It's a hypocrisy. Mm-hmm. It's double standards. And I am blaming the hypocrites, hypocrites media in the West. Why? Because they are loud enough to condemn compulsion in France because it's a secular country, and they keep silent when they visit my country, my beautiful country. There are millions of women in Iran. They're putting themselves in danger. Why? Because they want to be heard. And if my government come to any non-Muslim country, they ask you to remove all alcohol beverages. Why? Because they stand for Islamic values. Mm-hmm. And I think we have to ask them to respect human values. That's all I want to say. Okay, unfortunately, we are out of time. Just enough time for me to quote J.K. Rowling, who recently tweeted, the famous author. She tweeted, "So Sarkozy calls the Burqini a provocation. Whether women cover or uncover their bodies seems we're always asking for it." Reem Sarah Alouana and Masih Alinejad, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much, both of you, for joining us.
Thank you so much.